The tides are turning on D11 and the next generation of Rust. This is a big one. This is a video that I talked about in the last video. I mentioned how the next generation of Rust has some real issues, some real problems facing it, and we don't know yet if it's going to be able to overcome them. These are some big issues from the EU to the US to gaming in general, along with some issues with just how they're doing everything. But those are the least of the issues, in my opinion. We're going to be diving into a lot of things that are going on right now and some real potential reasons for the next generation version of Rust to either be delayed, canceled, or completely fail. So yeah, let's just get into it. So we've got a few different things happening. First off, the EU made some of the practices that D11 and a lot of games in general use potentially illegal. The US is putting tariffs on everything. Based on some World Trade Organization rulings, they can't put tariffs on electronic transmissions, but it looks like there might be some ways around that. And finally, we've got some really big heavy hitter games coming out that are going to be competing with the console edition of Rust. One particular game that pretty much everyone in the world knows about is GTA 6. It's a game that has allegedly had $2 billion spent on it. To put that in perspective, that's pretty much like a B2 bomber. So yeah, it's literally had a military level budget spent on the game, and it's probably going to be one of the most insane gaming experiences of all time. So any games that are releasing around that time are in some trouble. They're almost doomed to fail, especially next generation games because GTA 6 is going to release on consoles. Anyways, we're going to talk about all that. We're going to first jump into the EU. So right now, the EU has put up some headwinds that might affect the console version of Rust. But what's happened is the EU has made a ruling. It's yet to be clear how games are going to have to develop it. But they made a ruling that coins cannot be used, or virtual currencies can't be used to disguise the price of in-game purchases. This means if you've got a skin that costs 2,000 Rust coins, and that's equal to $20, D11 or any game really is going to have to put that price next to the amount of coins that you've got to spend. Whether or not it's going to have to completely eliminate coin sales or how that's going to work is yet to be seen, but it seems like at the very least, you're going to be able to see the price of an item in dollars. And the reason that's so important, the reason that affects a game like Rust Console or Rust in general is because these games thrive off of skins. Actually, it won't affect Rust in general because they already list the prices, but Rust Console, they thrive off skins and they thrive off skin sales. What's happening now is when people actually see the price of some of these items, they're way less likely to buy it, right? Like when you're thinking it's only 1,000 Rust coins, it's like, okay, 1,000 Rust coins. What is that? That's just plain money. But when you think it's $10, is it really worth it? A lot of people are going to reevaluate their choices and they're less likely to buy skins. And a game like Rust, specifically the console edition Rust, survives off of skin sales. At least that's my opinion. I think that most of their money right now is coming from skin sales rather than game sales. There's a lot of you out there who are complete degenerates and spending a monthly salary on skins. They're not a monthly salary, but you're spending a lot of money on skins. There's people that are proud that say that they've got every single skin in the game. Why you want that, I don't know. Because honestly, when I think about it, like there's when I buy skins, I try to buy skins that are better than the last skin I had for that item. If a skin comes out that I don't like, I'm not going to buy it just to have them all because that's just wasting money to waste money. That's ridiculous. That's like going to the store, buying something, and then putting down extra money because you want it to cost more. Like, nobody does that because it would be stupid, but like, why are you buying something that you're not going to use? Specifically, if you know it's good and you're not going to use it. Like, if you're saying this skin sucks, I'd never use it, and then you buy it, what's going on in your head, buddy? Anyways, these changes, it's not going to be huge, but it is going to reduce skin sales. And this, in combination with what the US has decided to do, could really spell trouble. So if you had your head under a rock, if you haven't been paying attention, there's a big orange man who's decided to tariff every single country in the world, including an island that is composed of just penguins. Turns out penguins are very hard to negotiate. They tend to shit on desks rather than speak English. So they got a tariff along with pretty much every other country in the world. It's crazy what the US is doing, but this is not a political video. Although there's probably a few degenerates who are going to think because I'm talking about tariffs, things got political. It's the same as when I don't know. I talk about, like, sometimes I'll talk about vaccines and people are like, don't get political, Serial. It's not political, it's science. And tariffs, that's economics, right? Tariffs, it increases the cost of goods. And how does this affect electronic goods? Well, right now it doesn't. There's something called the World Trade Organization, and they made a ruling that you can't actually tariff electronic transmissions. Trump is likely going to stick to this ruling because it turns out that when it comes to technology, the US is a leader. If you start tariffing technology from the US side, then other countries are going to start doing it because, hey, if the US does it, why can't we? Once that ruling is out the window, the World Trade Organization ruling, then what's going to happen is US companies are really going to be hit hard, really hard, because tariffs on electronic transmissions would hurt the US more than anyone else in the world. China might get hit pretty hard too because they've got a lot of tech companies, but let's be honest, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Apple. Apple doesn't really sell like Apple's a tech company, but I'm a little stupid. I don't know exactly how that works. I don't think they sell that many digital. No, they've got the App Store. I don't know. Anyways, you get where I'm going with this. So tariffs likely not going to affect the game, but if they do, that would be horrible because basically the price of the game would rise by 10, 20, 30, who knows how many percent for everybody in the US. And the US is a huge user base for the console edition of Rust. Now, in addition to this, tariffs are also going to raise the price of consoles, which means if you are looking to buy a console, you should do it now. Despite Microsoft being an American company, I highly doubt all the Xboxes are made in America. PlayStation, I don't think they're all made in America. I could be wrong on this, but I don't think there's any big manufacturing plants making these things in the US. And despite what a lot of people believe, I don't think those plants are going to magically poof out of thin air. It turns out it takes a long time to build a building. Go figure, right? Like manufacturing plants don't just, you can't just shit them out of your butthole. Anyways, though, what I'm talking about here is these tariffs are going to affect probably the price of consoles. They're going to go up. When the price of a console goes up, less people are likely to buy it. Even if it goes up a couple bucks, it's still going to affect things. It's most likely going to be more than a couple bucks. It's going to be 10, 20%. That's a lot. That's a lot. Like if you're paying $400 for it now, it's probably going to be 440. And companies are greedy; they're going to make it 450, and there's going to be profits missing because less people are going to buy the console. So now it's probably 475 because 475 is a nice round number. Anyways, no, like you see what I'm saying here. Prices are going to probably go up for consoles. And what this means is less people are going to buy consoles. And if less people have next generation consoles, there are less people who are likely to buy the next generation of Rust. What this means is right now, if you're listening to this video and you want a next generation console, it's a really good time to buy it. Like right now, yesterday, whenever. And if you are listening to this and tariffs have already gone into effect, look at used consoles. They might not be as expensive yet, but probably those prices are going to adjust too. If you already have a console, congratulations, it's probably going to get a little bit more valuable as time goes on. And then it's going to keep dropping in price because that's how electronics work. Anyways, this is going to affect D11 and the next generation Rust because less people have the consoles, less people are going to buy it. In addition to that, as tariffs affect everything around us, as prices go up, specifically for Americans, probably for everybody else too, because trade wars are fun and they cost a lot of money to us, the normal everyday people who go out in the street and get coffee and, try to live our lives in a good way, right? Like try to just be happy and fulfilled and make our family and friends happy and have a good life, right? Like it affects all of us. And what this means is as prices go up, you're less likely to spend money on things. I've already cut back my spending, honestly, because I know prices are going to go up. What I've done, I've front loaded a lot of my spending, right? So there's a lot of stuff I've bought now that I was thinking maybe I'll buy it in the future. Christmas gifts for my kids, those have been purchased right now because I saw tariffs coming in. I'm like, let's just get these things out of the way. And worst case scenario, if Trump decides to back down, we can return them. Like we can just keep them. We can still give them as gifts. Prices probably aren't going to be that big of a drop from Black Friday, but if they don't back down, at least we've got that stuff secured. So people are going to stop spending as much. They're less likely to buy the console edition of Rust. That's how this works, right? Like as tariffs and everything goes into effect, people are less likely to spend. This hurts D11 because if people are less likely to spend, then they're less likely to spend on D11 for skins and the new generation Rust. What can they do about it, right? Because this is the next part of the video. What can D11 do to fix this? First off, if they've got the game ready, they could drop it right now. Well, everybody's still not really counting their pennies, not pinching things. If there is a recession, depression, whatever you want to call it, coming, if there are layoffs coming, drop the game now. Get as many purchases as you can right off the bat. Get people who aren't on the next generation consoles, get them over. Try to push them over. Try to get them over. Maybe just say, hey, like we're going to charge 30, 40 bucks for this game. If you want to get the next generation console, we can give it to you for free if you own Rust. Or, I don't know. They can try to come up with something, right? Like try to get people over to it, try to get people adopting it, try to move people over ASAP, because the fact of the matter is the more people who have the game, the more they're going to spend on skins. Like This is the other thing too. Honestly, I think D11 should make the next generation of Rust free. I think they should make it free, not to everybody, but to the people who already own the game, because those people are still going to spend money on skins. The people who come back are going to spend money on skins. When I come back to the game, I'm probably going to buy some skins here and there. Like you're only talking 10, 20, $30, but that adds up 10, 20, $30 over a couple months. You got hundreds of dollars over a couple years, and maybe eventually you get to thousands, right? Like that's a lot of money. That's a good chunk of change. And if you get enough people doing that, that can fully support a game. So if you see people who have already bought skins and maybe they're vacant from the game, I don't know what the numbers are, but if there's enough people, it would make sense just to give the game out for free, because what's going to happen, those people are going to say, hey, I get a free game. It's Rust, but it's changed a little bit. There's some new cool stuff in it. Let's jump into it. It's the next generation. But I've got the next generation console. Those are also the people who probably have more expendable income to spend on skins. Those people are going to come back. They're going to try it out. Maybe they spend a little bit more on skins, and you could have sold the game for $50 instead. You gave it out for free, and now someone spent $100 in skins over the next year or two. That's a much better scenario than just not having that person buy the game and then making $50 off the players who do. I don't think it's going to be $50. I hope not. I hope at most it's going to be 10 to 20, but who knows? Especially as these tariffs come in, because as things get more expensive, everything's going to get more expensive. Even if it's not tariffed, it gets more expensive because they've got to make up for people who are trying to save money and not making purchases. D11's got to do the same thing. So if the game was going to come out at $20, maybe now it's 25. I don't know exactly how it's going to be working, but you see where I'm going with this, right? Like launching the game as quickly as possible is good for the consumer because we can get this stuff before, well, some of you all don't know how to save money. There's some people out there who they get $1 in their pocket, they put $1 out of their pocket into someone else's hand. And those people, they're put the game out for them to buy, because if they don't have the money, then they're not going to buy it. Um, in addition, though, it's also good because it's going to get the game into people's hands before they start feeling that crunch, before they start counting pennies. And I mean, why not? Why not get people over, get the hype up? Like I said earlier, you've got GTA 6 coming out probably at the end of this year. Once that game comes out, once the hype cycle for that game started, people are going to be holding off on other purchases, right? Like I don't know how it is for other people. For me, like I've got expendable income, right? Like I'm a big boy, right? I'm a big boy. I'm working for it. Well, I'm not working. I'm actually a bit of a lazy bum right now, but I've got money anyways. No, like I'm not. Yeah. Okay, I've got enough. I've got some spare change. I can buy some skins. I can buy some games. I don't really count my pennies. I'm not sitting here saying like I can only buy one game a year. But when I was a kid, that was how it worked, right? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe kids nowadays are rich. I see all these kids on like Instagram and TikTok flexing Gucci and Louis and things I can't even afford. They're driving Lambos, and I'm over here driving a Merc. It's ridiculous. But anyways, though, right? Like what I'm saying though is, I don't know how it is for kids nowadays, but I think this is how it works. Like you can only buy a couple games a year, right? Maybe like 3 or 4 games. Kids aren't the best at planning things out, so they're gonna start buying games. Like they get bored, they buy a game. Their summer's coming up, they're probably gonna be buying a game for summer. And after that, if GTA 6 has been announced, that's probably going to be what people are saving for. You've got some people that are going to save for COD, but let's be honest, those are a lot of millennials who, again, have jobs, and you probably don't need to worry about them. But the kids, I think there's still a lot of hype in the younger generation, the Gen Z, Gen Alpha. For Gen Alpha, how old is Gen Alpha? Am I lumping 8-year-olds into the GTA 6 crowd? I don't know. Anyways, you get what I'm saying, like teenagers, right? If they're looking to buy a game like come September and GTA 6 is on the horizon, especially if it's launching for more, it might launch for $90, $100. They're going to be holding back on other purchases to make sure they have the money for GTA 6, because that game has so much hype. To be left out of that it would feel bad. Like honestly, that would be the worst game launch to miss. And some of those people aren't going to be buying the console edition Rust if it comes out around then, because they're just waiting for GTA 6 and they figure, hey, I'm not going to spend time on Rust. I'm going to go GTA 6. And maybe they come back, maybe they don't. But the thing is, when you launch, you want there to be hype, especially like next gen. There's not going to be as much hype as there was for console, because the hype around Rust in general has died down, but also console players have had Rust. They've been through this experience. They know that there's a really high chance that things go wrong, right? Because it did with the console edition release. In addition to that, they've already played the game. They're not. If D11 could come out, if they could come out and say we're releasing a ton of new monuments, it's reskinned, you've got helicopters, you've got trains, you've got everything that the PC has on launch, people would go nuts. But if you come out and you say, hey, it's the same game, just retextured, and we promise to release things in the future that are good, people aren't going to be as interested, because they're going to say, well, okay, it's going to look a little bit better, but like we've got GTA 6, a whole new revolution in gaming coming out versus reskinned Rust. What do you think people are gonna pick, right? Like, people are gonna go for the next gen game. They're gonna go for the new thing rather than the reskin thing. If you've just got a reskin, D11, you need to drop it ASAP because it like now this is like a drought right now. We've got no new games. Well, we've got some new games, but we don't have that many new games coming out on the horizon. If you've got it, drop it. Honestly, just do it because headwinds are turning. It looks like the tide's turning. It looks like things are about to get a lot worse for people in all industries, if we're being honest. And it is going to hit video games. It's going to hit companies like D11. It's going to hit. It's going to hit all the. It's already hit companies. Like I don't know. I don't know if D11's traded on the public stock market, but valuations have gone down. I've been interviewing for jobs. I can't get a job, but I've been interviewing for jobs, and like so many of the interviews like we had like I had one offer that was literally pulled just because their funding fell through. Everything was set to go and then like tariffs dropped and their funding was like pulled. Right? Like it was just like the deal didn't get signed and they're like, sorry, we can't make it happen. Like, that's just how it goes, right? It is what it is what it is. It's a bummer. That is no, I don't man, I don't want to make bummer videos. I know people like but that was like, man, I don't know. I don't know. Like, if you're younger, you don't understand, but if you're older, you probably know like how that feels. Like when you got something lined up, like everything's looking good, everything's lined up, like future's looking bright, and then all of a sudden it's just like a snap. All of a sudden it's like, man, now we're back to square one. And it's rough. Like I'm okay, right? Like I took it, I'm okay. I'm okay. I can still do vacations. I can still do a lot of things that other people can't. So I'm thankful for that. And that is golden side of things. That's the good side of things. The bad side of things is things aren't as easy as they were going to be. But that's what it is. That's what it is. But yeah, that's like stuff like that's going to start. It's already happening to people, but it's going to keep happening to more and more people. And that's going to turn the tides. That's going to change consumer spending habits. I think at least. And I think that's a big deal for a game like Rust console. It's not one of those like GTA 6 might be able to overcome a recession. It might be the one game that can push through a recession, like like the Taylor Swift Eras tour, where every millennial woman is like going to it and spending all their money on it. Like GTA 6, that's the one where people might be, you know what, we're gonna be skipping some meals here, like steak dinner. Like they're kids gonna sit down with mom and dad and be like, mom, dad, we're eating broccoli tonight. You can't be buying those steaks. We need the GTA 6 money. Like that's the game that's going to happen for. Rust console is not the game. That's not going to change hearts and minds, right? Like that is why I'm saying like drop it now, D11. If you've got it, drop it. If you don't have it, push it out as soon as you can. Like a reskin is not going to pull people in the middle of a big economic movement. A reskin isn't going to get people to spend like it would have just a year ago. And if you don't think that situation is going to get better, like now is the time to do it, especially with I want to pound the point home just so they know because I really want this to succeed. I really want to see like next gen come out. I really want to see it do good. I really want to see people enjoying it. And I think they actually do have a pretty like from the screenshots and everything like that. I think they do have a pretty good product. I think they do have a pretty good shot at this. There are some things that are changing, and I think that could really hurt the game. Anyways, let me know what you think down below. Hopefully this made sense. If it didn't, if you hate me, if you like Trump and you want to yell at me, post down below in the comments. Until next time, peace.